Hi everybody, welcome to this channel. If you're just joining this channel for the first time, my name is Chukwunyere and I help people build healthy, happy and purposeful relationships that will help them influence cultures and transform societies. This is the best place to be if you really want to build a very great relationship. So I'm very excited to have you here, and make sure that you subscribe and make sure that you share with friends, and of course like this video if eventually you find it very useful. All right, so today we are going to talk about something that a lot of people don't really talk about in their marriage relationships or even in dating relationships, and that is what you do when the spark in your relationship fades. What to do when the spark in your relationship fades. Marriages are in seasons, okay? There will be several seasons in your marriage or in your relationship, and one of those seasons may be that the intimacy that you share with your partner has faded. The spark, the fire, that the passion, that used to burn has either way faded, and it can happen. And when it does, it can be a very scary moment. For many people, when something like this happens, they feel like they are no longer in love with their partner, but that's not what it is. So don't misinterpret that season of your life to think that because the fire or the spark is no longer there, then you're no longer in love with that person, then you should find someone else. Because a lot of people have made this mistake in several seasons, or a season in their marriage or a season in their relationship, when they don't feel that fire, they don't feel that spark, they don't feel that passion, and they just think that the best thing to do is to leave that marriage or leave that relationship because they feel that they're no longer in love. But then it's not the case. The truth is, you're still in love with that person, or at least you're committed to loving that person. The passion may have been buried. The passion may have been pushed far away, pushed way to the bottom, of your heart, and your mind. And that's why the spark is not there. And you can reignite that spark. You can reignite that feeling. You can reignite that passion. And what this means is that you can work on rebuilding intimacy, because that's where it starts. If intimacy is impacted, then it will impact on the passion, it will impact on the spark, it will impact on the fire that is burning within you. So it doesn't mean that if you have this experience, you've lost that relationship, or you've lost your partner, or you're no longer in love with them, and the solution is to look for someone else. No. What it means is that you need to rekindle that fire. You need to rebuild that relationship. Okay, so before we go into what to do to rebuild the intimacy or rekindle the fire, it's important to even know the things that can lead to that fire being quenched, that can lead to you losing that passion, that can lead to you losing that fire that burns in you. The first thing is you stop doing things with each other. You stop doing things with each other, or you stop dating each other. So let's start with the first one. The first one is you stopped dating each other. You remember when you started your relationship, when we all started our relationship, it usually used to be something that we always wanted to go out, we always wanted to be with each other, we always wanted to hang out, go to movies, have dinner dates, have lunch, we always want to be with each other. We always did things that, kept us excited. Okay, so we had dates, and it was on a consistent basis because you really wanted to spend time with that person. And also because you're not in the same house or you're not living in the same house with that person, and you may not always want to go to their house because you also want privacy, the best thing is to take them out. So dating becomes a consistent thing when you need privacy and you want to be with each other. Okay, so people get into marriage and they stop dating. They stop doing those beautiful things that they were doing when they were cutting each other and when they were dating each other. So the phone calls that you call and you keep talking for hours and you don't want to stop. You keep, spending moments with them. You write them notes. You send them gifts. You just keep doing things that make them feel loved. You stop doing those things. When you stop doing those things, it will impact on your intimacy. It will impact on the passion that you both share. And so people experience their love and their passion or the spark fade because they stopped dating each other. So the solution to this is to go back to those things you used to do when you were dating. Take them out, be sweet, be romantic, give them gifts, think about what their love language is and express it, okay? So start dating again. The second thing is we all get caught up in routines and responsibilities. So a lot of people get caught up in routines and responsibilities that they forget to pay attention to their spouse. Many people experience this season in their marriages when they start giving birth to children. Okay, so when the children begin to come, especially for women, they are so focused on, taking care of the household. So once they wake up, their mind is already working. They want to bathe the kids, get them ready for school, cook, take them to school, and all of those routine, then work and all of that. So responsibilities can engage you and put you in a place where you are no longer intentional about your intimacy with your spouse. And that in itself can actually impact the spark or contribute to the spark fading in your relationship. A lot of men get very busy. They travel for work. They are pursuing their goals and their dreams, but they're not paying attention to their relationships. And they're not doing those things that they used to do during their dating days. That can impact your relationship. So what I would say at this point is, in spite of the responsibilities, in spite of the routines, ensure that you are intentional. Okay, ensure that you're intentional. Don't allow it to becloud your capacity to be intentional about building intimacy with your spouse. The third thing is we stop seeing each other. When I mean stop seeing each other, I mean really stop seeing each other. Before, when your spouse walk past you, you hit them at the bum, you smile at them, you look at them in a certain way, you appreciate their beauty or their handsomeness, you say it that you love them, you say it that you appreciate them, you talk about their shape, you talk about everything that makes them beautiful, that excites you because you really see them. They make a new hair, you compliment them, their makeup is beautiful, you talk about it, they are smiling and you're seeing it and you're complimenting them. You really do see them and they know that you see them. But when you stop seeing them because you're probably busy, you're not paying attention to them, when the love or the spark starts fading, you probably stop seeing them. And it starts, when you stop seeing them, actually. That happens and the spark begins to fade. So you have to be intentional. You have to always keep that habit of appreciating them, seeing the beautiful things about them and saying it. Okay, you really have to see them. And when I mean see them, you pay attention to them. You look at them, you know when they are down. You know when their countenance is down. You know when they need to be, to be inspired, to be motivated, to be encouraged. You can tell that something is missing. Their tone of voice, can you can detect that something is wrong. That's really very important. So you need to really see them. If you don't, of course, it will contribute to the spark fading. Then the other thing is emotional wounds. When they pile up and they never get addressed, it impacts on the passion within. So if you consistently hurt each other, and over a period of time, there is that emotional wound that is there. If you don't address it, if you don't talk about it, they'll just keep piling up. And what it does is that it begins to make the spark and the passion between the both of you fade. And then the last thing I will talk about here that also contributes to relationships, the spark in relationships fading, is that we've simply forgotten how to have fun together. Before, you used to play games, you used to laugh, you used to run together, you used to do several things, together. You laugh, you gist, you play, you have fun. You know how to have fun. You know how to talk, to laugh, to, play games together, but you just forgot how to do those things, or you stopped doing them. So having said that, if any of these things are the things that you're currently doing, understand that it is going to probably lead to the passion and the spark between your relationship or in your relationship to begin to fade. So take note of that and work on it. Now, let me, just talk about practical ways to reignite your intimacy. I'll talk about 5 practical ways to reignite your intimacy. The first one is be emotionally honest. Not just polite, okay? Be emotionally honest, not just polite. Take the time to talk about how the both of you feel, okay? Emotional honesty is very important. This is very difficult for men. A lot of times, men, we want to solve our problems ourselves. Even when you get hurt or get offended, you just don't want to talk about it. You just let it slide. And sometimes it doesn't really slide. It just keeps piling on until one day you just break open like a volcano, and the other person would probably not understand where you're coming from, and they're wondering what just happened. Is this little thing that I just said that made you to burst, in anger, like this, So it's important to understand that you have to be emotionally honest and open, okay? You have to always talk about how you feel. If there's a way that you feel about something, share. You can have days of the week. You can decide that, okay, every Wednesday is vulnerability day. Think through the week. Think about how you feel. Think about what's going on in your life. Think about what's going on in the relationship, and be open and honest with each other about how you feel. Are you feeling resentment? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling pain? Are you feeling hurt? It's important to talk about how you feel. So be emotionally honest with each other, because vulnerability leads to intimacy. Vulnerability leads to intimacy. And one thing you must understand about vulnerability is that vulnerability is a place where you can be free and feel safe to express how you feel without being judged. Okay, so a lot of men don't want to show emotions because they feel they'll be judged. They don't want to be vulnerable because they feel like their partner would see them as weak. So if they don't have or don't feel safe or don't feel like there's that safe space, or they've been judged before, they may not want to be vulnerable. So it's important that in that space of trying to rekindle or reignite your intimacy between the both of you, while being honest, ensure that in that place of vulnerability, nobody is judging each other. It's a safe space for each of you to express how you feel, share how you feel, without being scared that the other person will get angry and react negatively. Okay, so that's very important. Number 2, touch more. Even outside the bedroom, touch more. And when I mean touch more, there are 2 categories to this. Intimacy is built when you have non-sexual touches. Okay, so rub them at the back, hold them, hug them, kiss their forehead, put your legs on them, just touch. That's very important. Okay, so ensure that you both express that. Touch more often. During the days, give yourselves a minimum of 6 seconds to hug each other at different times. Okay, pause what you're doing and hug and hold each other, and let them know that they're that safe space that they can always come to. Ensure that happens, okay, on a regular basis. So touching more is very important. Non-sexual touch is very critical. And then the other side to it also is sexual touch, okay. For men feel close to you when they have sex with you, okay. So when a man is being starved of sex, they don't feel close to you. They don't feel intimate with you. For a woman, she feels close to you when you talk to her, when you caress her mind, okay, when you say nice things to her, when you are romantic and affectionate towards her. That's how she feels intimate. And also the non-sexual touch also makes her feel intimate with you. But for the man, he wants to have sex. And so because he wants to have sex, is when he has sex, he feels intimate with his wife. So it's very important that in your relationship, you understand these dynamics. As the man, show affection, show love. Non-sexual touch is very important. They make her feel intimate with you. And then for the woman, ensure that he has enough sex, because that's also the way for him to feel intimate with you. So if you really want to rebuild your intimacy level, you have to consider both the sexual touch and the non-sexual touch, and make sure it is consistent. That is really very important. A lot of men have walked away from being intimate with their wives because they didn't have enough sex, so they felt alone and all of that. So, and then for some women, they don't feel emotionally connected with their spouse, because their husband, because he wasn't romantic enough, he wasn't affectionate, he wasn't saying the right things, he wasn't just expressing those non-sexual touches that would help her feel intimate. So this is really very important. It's about establishing connection for the both parties. It's about establishing connections. So these are ways you can actually establish connections. Number 3, create moments of fun and surprise. This is really very important. Remember those times when you guys used to just laugh and talk and laugh, you go for unplanned dates, you leave a note with them, you write very beautiful poems, you plan getaways, even nightaways, with them. Sometimes you're just in the living room, you have candle lights and all of that. Those are the beautiful romantic things that you do that help the both of you build connection, create fun times, and create surprises, that make them feel emotionally drawn towards you. Okay, so rekindle those things. Start doing those things again. Watch movies together. It could be in the living room, but you are doing it together. You're sitting on the floor. You're hugging each other, holding each other. And you're watching movies. You're eating chocolates. Having something to drink and all of that. Create those fun times. It's very important. It could even be just to play games. And when you play games, the person that wins and the person who doesn't win, you are happy, you are laughing at each other and all of that. That's also very important. Then number 4, deal with what's unresolved. Okay, emotional hurts, emotional pains, if they are not resolved, can build resentment in the heart, can push your heart away from your partner's heart as well. So it's important to talk about things that need to be talked about. Okay, don't hold things in your heart. Don't allow them build up. Don't allow them to pile up. Talk about them. Unspoken pain creates distance. That's the truth. Unspoken pain creates distance. So ensure that you have conversations. So whether it's hurt, betrayal, resentment, address it. Okay, that would help you talk, that would help you forgive, that will help you heal. Don't just pretend that everything is fine. If you sweep things under the carpet, the floor is still dirty. It's just that it is hidden. So it's important to have conversations so you can heal and move forward. And then the last thing that I would share here is choose intentional intimacy. Okay, choose intentional intimacy. Schedule time to be close. One of the things that my wife and I do is to have times together after the kids have gone to bed. So we have work during the day, we do all the parenting, and we spend family time together with the kids. And then when it's time for them to go to bed, we put them to bed. And then we have our time together where we are intentional about each other, talking with each other, laughing, playing, praying, whatever it is that we choose to do. We're doing it together, and we're doing it consistently every day. What that does is to help keep that intimacy going, is to help keep that fire going. So ensure that you are intentional about it. You create time to be close, both emotionally and physically. That's important. It may sound unromantic, but in busy seasons, it is important that you are intentional about your intimacy, because it will keep that spark alive. Okay, it will keep that spark alive. Let me say this again. Because the passion faded doesn't mean that the love is gone. It doesn't mean that you guys are not meant to be together. Yes, the passion may have faded. What it means is that it was just buried. All you need to do is to re-excavate it, is to rebuild it, is to rekindle it, is to get it going again. Okay, so that's the idea behind this. You can rekindle the intimacy that the both of you share, and you can rekindle that fire again. So make that effort. Okay, that's also one of the areas where a lot of people lack capacity in, is the ability to intentionally make the effort to get that relationship back to where it used to be, rather than running to someone else. Feelings are fleeting. They can come and go, okay, and you can rekindle them. That's why commitment in marriage is what holds that relationship, that even in the season when you don't feel like you love them, when you don't feel like the fire and the passion is there, commitment would help you work on it again so that you guys can come back together and ensure that the fire is rekindled. I hope this helps you. And if it does, share with your friends. And if you're yet to subscribe, kindly subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.